Last panel of the year is here, and what better way to end it than with music? We have 5 panelists who are here to talk about the music industry. Let's see what they had to say. Here was Bill Fold, the director of Coachella and Stagecoach. Welcome.
Hi. Well, hello.
So glad to have you here. Tell us about how you started with Stagecoach.
Well, Stagecoach started in 2007, and after the 8 years of doing Coachella, we decided, and we had talked about it for many years, but we decided it made a lot of sense to do another weekend. We already had a lot of things set up, and our first couple years of Stagecoach was pretty rough, trying to get people to understand what it was. But it's taken off at this point to be a pretty successful event, and it had a lot more to do with trying to take advantage of having all of our people in the desert, having all the stages and infrastructure out there, and it became something that we love now. But it was more born out of necessity, I think, to maximize what we were doing.
So tell me, if students are trying to get into Coachella, in the industry, in the music industry or anything, what are some tips you can give them? What is something that you wish that they would have told you earlier?
I don't consider myself in the music industry or my specific team. I don't particularly care for the music industry, and maybe on this panel I might have to bite my lip a little bit, but I don't think that a music festival or what we do experience-wise has anything to do with what I perceive the music industry to be, because I don't particularly like record labels or lawyers or booking agents or managers or any of that. Although there's people on our team that do need to deal with managers and agents in the booking process, but it has nothing to do with a festival that a group of people would come to and enjoy the experience. In fact, it usually detracts from it because of the politics and things that happen on the back end of things, and it doesn't run the way that it actually should for the experience of the fan. So I've done my best to steer clear of the music business per se as much as I can, and advice is just follow a passion, and if music is a passion and it's something that drives you, then try and follow wherever that leads. And it's not to say that going to school or taking classes or doing whatever is a bad thing, but it's not just a job. It's not something you can just learn in a classroom and then, okay, I'm going to do this. It's like you'll end up behind a desk working for someone who's a jerk, is the way it usually happens. And part of why I don't like the whole system is because ultimately it's a breeding ground for assholes, ultimately.
I love this.
Well, it's my thoughts on it. A lot of the assistants of agents aren't treated that well, and that's the cycle that they learn, that you don't have to treat people well, and that you get things done by yelling and enforcing and threatening and all these things. Now, it's just what it is. It's a part of it. That's how the system works. I've just chosen to not personally be a part of it. My partner Paul is a part of it and has to deal with a lot of stuff that goes on, and he's one of the best and one of the most liked people in the music industry. When somebody says Paul Tollett, they go, that's probably the nicest guy they've ever met. Mm-hmm. And he's figured out a way to navigate and get around it. And because of what we have, it's not to take anything away from Paul for 30 years of being who he is and doing the right thing and being a good guy, but we have something that's so important to so many people and artists that they have to step up their level of respect. So it's a little bit easier for him than somebody, let's say, that was trying to get into the business. And
right.
And I used to be a booker. I told you earlier that from 1994 to 99, I ran a thing at UC Riverside called The Barn, and we were doing a solid 3 shows a week, and then there were some weeks that we were probably doing 4 or 5, just depending on the time of season, what was happening, or if we had club nights or whatever. So it's like I know the world, and I would never I wouldn't take Paul's job for a second. would be like later. I'm not fucking shit.
You guys want to work for Coachella or Stagecoach, get that experience, get that resume going, because that's what they're looking for. So it's never too late to start, right?
Never. It's never too late.
And you know, Christmas is coming up. Can you tell me something that's on your Christmas list?
On my Christmas list, wow. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Christmas. I'm going to London the day after Christmas.
But you're going to London. That's awesome. You're going to see the big trees and everything.
Yeah, there'll be lots of good stuff over there.
Okay, thank you,
You're
Bill.
welcome. You're
Such a
welcome.
pleasure. Here with DJ Rostar, producer and host of the web show called Live with DJ Rostar. DJ Rostar, welcome.
That's a lot of DJ Rostar you just said in one sentence. Hi. Thanks for having me. Again.
I love saying your name. It's just like Rostar, you know, instead of Rockstar, it's just Ross.
You figured it out. That's why it's Rostar.
Okay, so tell me, how did you start this web show?
Back in the olden days, in 2002, I was a student, like you are, at American University in Washington, D.C., and we had a college station, and my whole life I wanted to be a radio host. I wanted to play music that I liked. I wanted to introduce people to music that I liked. And when I got to the school, I couldn't believe it, but I had done research, and I could not find a single show on the internet that did live interviews with rock bands. I said, how is this possible? Because I wanted to listen to one. So I said, well, I'm going to have my own show. Why don't I try to be the first ever live radio show with live interviews? And
Students trying to get into the music industry, can you give them a little tip? You know, I know you were talking to me earlier. It's not what everybody makes it seem. So would you mind sharing?
I think interning is really important. I interned for a radio station in Long Island, where I'm from, when I was home from college in the summertime. And I think when you're applying for a job and you get out of college, any special skills that you believe that you have, you should make sure if you actually do get that interview, or even if you have your resume out to them, that you mention it. Because I did go to school for 4 years and I did intern, but when I got my first job at Warner Records, it was mostly because they had already heard about my show. So that was my little thing that I created, and I was able to use that when on my pitch whenever I applied for another job. So if you have something special or some talent that you think would help you in the work field, make sure you mention that. Because they're getting so many resumes a day that just say college, high school, college, high school. What makes you different? Whether you have a blog or you do web design, anything that you have that you think is a special skill, make sure you include that on your resume.
So you hear that? Start now. Make a YouTube channel. Start web designing. Start helping out. DJ Ross, can you tell me what's on your Christmas list this year?
Well, it's supposed to be a Hanukkah list technically, but
I'm sorry, Hanukkah list.
Hanukkah and Christmas. See, I'm simple, and it drives my girlfriend crazy because she never knows what to get me. I'm not big on. You would think I would be. I'm not big on electronics. I just got an iPhone 6, but only because I broke the iPhone 4. And before the iPhone 4, I had a flip phone. So I'm not big with technology. So my list is pretty boring. I need like a new wallet, need new boots, other hats, some nice shirts from Express maybe, some new pants, mostly clothes. I'm not big into I'm not like a gamer, so I don't need that. I still buy music a lot, so any like Amoeba Records gift card is good. Is that what you're going to buy me? Are you buying me a gift? Is that what you're
I'll think about it. I think I might.
Yeah.
DJ, thank you so much for being here, Ross.
Thank you.
Here with Chris Soul. She's a CSUF alumni, and she now works for Rhino Entertainment. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a trip and it's an honor at the same time.
We're glad to have you back home, and you make us proud. Tell us about your new job as a sales and marketing coordinator.
It's awesome. It really is. It's gratifying to have earned my way from an internship into this position. I worked really hard as an intern there back in January. It's my last semester at college, and it's intense. And there's times, I will not lie, there's times when it's work. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of stuff I didn't really expect to be handling, in my first job. But there's times when you're just like, whoa, it's the music industry. I work at a record label, and not only do I work for a record label, but I work for Warner Music Group, which is one of the top 3 in the entire world. So it's a really rewarding experience, and I really couldn't ask to be in a better position right out of college.
You said you worked really hard. What is really hard? What are some tips you could give to students, when they're at an internship and they're in that position, they're going to graduate, or, they just want to leave a really good impression? How?
Well, I would not. Don't be discouraged by timing. A lot of times, an internship that you enter into, they may not be hiring, but taking initiative, doing the small tasks, working not tirelessly, like they won't abuse you. A lot of people get really nervous about like having to go do coffee runs or laundry runs. Like, even if you have to do those things, just take the initiative, use your imagination. Don't be discouraged at all. The people you work for appreciate you being there. I cannot tell you now that being an employee for there and actually having my own interns, I appreciate them more than I appreciate my own bosses. Sometimes they work tirelessly and they're so dedicated. So I can say that, just making sure that you do the most that you can. And like whether it comes to, say, if it is the record industry and all you need to do is stack CDs or reshelve something, just take that initiative, go that extra inch if you can, and that'll really make you stand out. And be humble about the job that you have, I guess. So it's a lot of things. I mean, you're obviously gonna work tirelessly, and you're gonna feel really drained because, you're working for academic credit, but you can really learn something if you just kind of like, I don't know, you really get really excited. But yeah, I guess just initiative and imagination were some of the biggest things I can stress about an internship.
I can tell you're really passionate about this industry, and I'm so happy about that because I love people that are passionate about the industry. I'm passionate about what I do. I love to see that in someone else too. So, you told us that you sing. Can you give us a little bit, a little snippet of how you sound, or a little sound?
Oh my gosh. Oh, Collison is gonna laugh at me. Okay. so was Rashidi. All right. Let's see. All right. So we begin another day in California. Be good or sin. Don't go right there. I tried to warn you. Nothing could be prettier than this. Walking in Los Angeles. But who does it?
Wow! Shout out to you, beautiful and talented.
Oh, I like you.
You've got a future in this. Thank you so much for coming back. And what would you like for Christmas? What's on your Christmas list?
On my Christmas list? What can I buy myself? I'm terrible at shopping for other people. I like shopping for myself. I hate telling people what to get me. You really can't go wrong with like a good pair of running shoes or a good pair of boots. So I'm easy to please.
Definitely. Steve Madden had to sell last time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you to ASI for providing us with this room, and thank you to Diabolo for providing us with great beverages. As always, thank you to all the panelists for coming out here, even in the rain. This is ETC Live.